Thank you for joining us for this episode of Reaching for Research by Students for Students. My name is Lindsay Taha, and I am a senior at the University of Arizona studying neuroscience and cognitive science with a double minor in Spanish and Business Administration. And I am also a Bio 5 Public Affairs student assistant. Today, we welcome Drew Sizer. Drew, thank you for joining us to share your journey working with Bio 5 ambassadors with our audience. Would you tell our audience about yourself?
I'm Drew Sizer, obviously. I am a junior here at the University of Arizona studying molecular and cellular biology with a business minor, and I'm also a Bio 5 ambassador.
Great. What was your journey through STEM, and how did you become a Bio 5 ambassador?
So when I came to college, I knew I wanted to work in some sort of lab, biology lab, doing research or something along that, realm, that area. But then when I was a junior, the beginning of junior year, I took on a business minor. And so I was kind of trying to explore all sorts of internships that dealt with science, that dealt with business. And then when I stumbled across this one, I was like, it's literally business and science. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. So then I applied and I got it.
Great. Yes, for our audience, the internship really focuses on the business side of science. So that's great that it applies to your skills. Our next question is, what are you working with while being an ambassador?
So I work with event planning and tours. So that's working with Tammy White. And we just, as the title itself, we just plan events and take people on tours.
Great. So you just mentioned that you get to work with Tammy White, who is our manager of events and tours. Can you tell me something that you are really proud of working with her, or one of your favorite aspects?
I think working with Tammy, my favorite activity or aspects that we worked on and did was just outreaching to a bunch of different audiences of people. I know last semester we did a tour with a bunch of middle schoolers, and it was really fun because we got an opportunity to run a little experiment with them, and I got to tell a younger generation all about Bio 5, which I'm super proud of to work with and for. And at the same time, we get the other aspect of it where we're outreaching to a more sophisticated crowd. For example, I gave Thomas Keating and all of them a tour. So it was really cool to have the flip side where I'm sharing knowledge with people who are really, really interested in the Institute themselves, which is really cool.
Great. What would you say one of the most challenging aspects of being an ambassador is, and how did you overcome it?
I think the most challenging part of being an ambassador is, as simple as it is, making sure all of our schedules line up and keeping communication between us active. I think that's just hard because you're working with other ambassadors who have equally or more busy schedules than yourself. So it's just really hard to keep that all in line and create meetings with each other and all of that. But I think the best way that I overcame it was I got taught Google Calendars. I got taught all these organization skills that really helped me plan my weeks out, because I thought I had really great organization skills, and then I got here and I was like, wait, this is so much better than what I was doing before. So it keeps me organized, and I think it makes it easier to communicate with each other, send invites, send emails super quick, and I think we're all more equipped than we were when we got here.
Yeah, I love that. Great. Outside of your work in STEM, what are some of your other passions or things in your life that help you get through the week and keep you motivated?
So throughout the week, what do I do? I go to the gym every day. That is mostly just to get me up in the morning because I am not a morning person at all. So if I'm not up by 7 or 8, I will not be getting up. So that has helped me get super motivated in the morning. I also like to read. So at night I read books, all fiction, because it's as a science major, it's all we read is about science. So I like to, switch it up a little bit. And then actually recently I started going to yoga.
Oh, I love yoga.
Me and my friends, it's actually hot yoga. So it's
nice. Where do you go?
I think it's called It's Sessions Yoga.
Oh, nice. Yes.
So $10, and we just like take the little class, 60 minutes. It's so much fun. So that really helps, just keep your mind clear and the week going.
Okay, what is one piece of advice you would give your 16-year-old self?
If there was one piece of advice I could give my 16-year-old self is trust the process. There's a lot of things in college and high school and school and all of that where you get some things and you don't get some things, and sometimes you feel like you're not the most successful person in your field or something like that, but just trust the process because there are good things coming to you.
Yeah,
so.
I like that. That's definitely true. What advice would you give someone who is also wanting to become an ambassador?
I think, kind of like I touched on before, it is a very, like the business side of science. So I think if you have passions in some of those fields, I think that it would be a good internship to take on. But just, if you're going in the medical field, I don't know if it's necessarily something you should do, but if you do, have at least an idea of, is this something that could help me in the future?
Nice. Okay, that is all of our questions. Thank you for listening to this episode of Reaching for Research by students for students, and thank you again to our guest, Drew.
Thank you.